Welcome back everybody to another video, and in today's video we're going to be doing this window right here. We're going to be doing the casing on it. We're going to be actually doing the window insert. This is a basement egress window that got cut in the foundation wall, and the window got put in, and now it just needs to be trimmed out. So for this we are going to be using a 3/4 inch MDF. The ones that we have right now are 12 inches wide, which is way wider than what we need. So we're going to have to rip these down, whether it's with a skill saw, table saw, whatever it is you got. For this project, I'm actually just going to be using my skill saw. It's going to be easy enough. Straight cuts, I feel confident in what I'm doing, so no need to have to use a table saw there and pull it out of my trailer and everything else. It would be a lot easier, or for you guys at home that are going to be doing it, it might be a lot easier to go ahead and do it with the table saw, especially if you're not comfortable with a skill saw and cutting such long straight lines. So I believe these are roughly, I believe all my boards are 4 feet long. That's not where they're going to be when they're finished. We're going to go over that right now. So to get started, what you're going to want to do is your top and your bottom boards are going to actually run all the way through. Okay, we're going to be pretty much building a box, sticking the box in the hole, shimming it to make it perfect as far as what we want with our reveals, and then we'll go ahead and nail it off, and then we'll add the casing. I'm going to show you how we do that right now. So first of all, like I said, you want the top and bottom to run all the way through. So the best way to do it is go with your window size. So we are just going to hook the window, pull our tape. It's 35.5 inches wide. So our top and bottom pieces are going to be 35.5 inches wide. We'll go ahead and we'll write that up here just so we have it. Okay, so that's our top and bottom pieces. Now for our sides, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go ahead and hook the edge, pull it up. We have 41.5 inches. Now, since our top and bottom run through, we can't cut those at 41.5 inches. They'll be too big. So we know we have 3/4 of an inch down here, 3/4 of an inch up top, which makes 1.5 inches. So from our 41.5, we will take away that 1.5 inches, and that will leave us with 40 inches total. So let's go ahead and write that. All right, so now that we know what size all those are going to be, now we need to know how big they are going to be as far as getting ripped down. So what we will do is we will butt our tape into the window, and preferably into the window corners, and we'll pull our tape measure out. And once we get to the sheetrock, that is what our size will be. So at the bottom here, bottom right corner, I got 8 7/16 of an inch. Turn around, my bottom left corner, I have 8 7/16 of an inch. So let's go ahead and write that on here. 8 7/16. 8 7/16. Now, same thing up top. Let's go ahead and measure the top. So we got 8 5/16. And what do I got there? 8 7/16. Let's double check this side just to be safe. 8 7. Yep. So good thing we double checked, because I was off. That is 8 7/16. This is 8 7/16. So that's pretty straight. Now ideally this would have been way easier now with the table saw because it's straight. I wasn't 100% sure how close this was going to be, being that because the inside basement wall was already done and the outside foundation, you never know. Somehow that came out perfect. Well, that's awesome. It doesn't always happen that way. So now what we will do is we got all our numbers, our sizes. We'll go ahead and we'll transfer those onto our boards. And then I will go and I will cut. So I'll just write them all on one board. And what I'm going to do is turn it around right on the back side. That way you don't write on the finished edge. Even if it's going to get painted and everything else, why have to put extra primer? Why have to put extra coats of your finished paint? Just don't write on the finished surface. So top and bottom. Our two top and bottom pieces were 35 and a half. Our left and right sides were 40 inches. And all the way around, we're ripping it down to 8 7/16. So there you go. We got our sizes, we got our boards. Now we're going to go cut. All right, everybody, welcome back. And we're done cutting. Now here's our 4 pieces, and we're going to get ready to put them together. So, again, we know that the top and the bottom were the small pieces. So if you want to, you could kind of get them laid out however you want. So that way you don't get confused. But I'm going to go top, bottom, side, and side. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we'll start nailing this thing together. You'll hold it flush to the edge. Put on my glasses here. Now you just want to make sure that your top edges are flush. And you'll also want to make sure when you're shooting your nails in, don't have your hand close. You want it back a ways. I mean, there's no reason to put it so close just so it shoots out and hits you in the hand. Perfect. So there's 4 nails there. Go ahead and get this side over right here. Go ahead and move your hands and your legs out of the way. Especially when you're shooting stuff into MDF or any kind of trim. You just never know where that nail is going to go. Shoot one more just to be safe. Go ahead and we'll add one more right here. Okay. Now, climb on over. Go ahead. We will nail these off here. Cool. That one's got by there. Cool. So, now that we have our box nailed together, stand it on up. And it looks like I have one nail right down here that broke through, but that won't be a problem. I'll end up just end up breaking that off and puttying over that hole with some Dynapatch. Never know what ever happened. So, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this up in the window, and I'll show you what to do from there. Okay, so pick it up. Hope that it fits. Now there's no hoping, we already knew it was going to fit. So, looks good overall. Now, what we're gonna do, and the way I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna do it a little bit old school, just so you guys can see how to check and see if it's square. Now, ideally this window is in good, so we should be able to just go by the reveal of the window, and that is just from where the actual trim is to the window surface itself. If it's straight on the top or the bottom and sides, it should be straight everywhere. Obviously in a perfect world. But what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and just check and see what we like here. Do we like it sitting all the way down? Now, it looks like, to me, like it needs to be right there. Looking down through the back side, I can see right where the window edge is. And to me, that's where it is, right there. But let's go ahead and let's just put a, for the sake of the video, let's go ahead and put a couple shims in. We're gonna check it. So, just to hold it. Hold that side. Okay, so we can do it one of a few ways. We can go ahead and we can check from the top down, and we got right about 2 inches. And from here, obviously, we're right under 2 inches. So it might be a little bit out of square. But here's the old school trick. You go corner to corner. So what we will do is we'll put our edge of our tape right here in the corner. We will go across, and that looks like 51 and 15/16. Go ahead and turn it back the other way. Put your big end in the bottom corner. And this way looks like it's 52 inches. So we are at a square about a 1/16 of an inch. So if we're bigger on this side, smaller on that side, what's that mean we need to do? That means we need to kick it this way just a hair. But being out a 1/16 of an inch is not that big of a deal. That's not what we're going to do, because that's out a 1/16 of an inch, but that's on 2 sides. So you're out 1/32 of an inch. That is almost perfect. You can't get it much perfect than that unless it was dead nuts. So we're going to go ahead and leave it here for the sake of what we're doing. So we will go ahead and we'll push it in. We'll make sure our shims are tight. now before we nail it off, of course, we'll double check and we'll make sure everything's nice and tight again. Now let's go ahead, get some more nails in our gun. And I believe these are, what are these? These are 2.5 inches is what I got going in here. So, that is plenty big enough to secure the window. So we will go ahead and we will start with the sides. We'll go to our bottom and then we'll nail off our top. And when we nail off our top, well, ideally we'll put another shim here in the middle. So that way when we shoot it in, it doesn't pull the top up and bow it. As you can tell, I'm using the back of my gun as a hammer. Not necessarily recommended, but a lot of times for what I'm doing, I'm not trying to beat on the actual finished surface. I'm trying to beat on my shims. They'll help push it in a little bit tighter. So now we'll go ahead and nail off the bottom. Oh, we better let that compressor catch up. I got a little baby finish compressor in here today. So while that's working, we'll go ahead and we will, let's see, do I have my knife on me? I don't. So we'll go ahead and do this. Go ahead and put shims up here. It's actually a little bigger gap than I thought up top. Now the thing is that we want to make sure too that we're not bowing it down by putting too big a shims in. So the way we can check that is our tape. The bottom's already going to be where it is. So we can go ahead and we can go right under 40 inches, right under 40 inches, where we just put our shims. Right under 40 inches. Perfect. So, compressor caught back up. Let's go ahead and finish nailing this off. And go to the middle. So, there you have it for that.